What's up, guys? Welcome back to Picture Breakdown. This is going to be my breakdown of The Bad Batch Episode 9, Bounty Lost. I'm going to be going through this episode shot by shot for interesting visual details, hidden references, as well as any background information that you might need to know. But first, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and notification bell to be notified for every future Bad Batch episode breakdown. Spoiler warning for Bad Batch Episode 9. Alright, so let's start off with the title, Bounty Lost, which refers to the loss of the credits that Cad Bane was supposed to get, as well as Cad Bane losing Omega, and finally Fennec Shand losing Omega. So we open with Omega in a cell in Cad Bane's ship, and almost as soon as she wakes up, she starts to look around the edge of the cell to see if there's any weak points to help her escape. This is the lesson that she learned earlier in the show when they were trapped in a cell on Kamino, and Tech found a weak point in that cell to help them escape. Cad Bane then goes up to the cockpit to talk to Lama Su, and on his dashboard you can see some Orbesh that the first two words translate to cargo hold, but the second two are too blurry to make out. The Bad Batch figure out who Cad Bane is, and on the screen it shows Cad Bane's Republic file. On it, some Orbesh on the left translates to Cad Bane, and on the right it says extremely dangerous, reinforcing how skilled of a fighter he is to have been Hunter in a standoff. Tech comes in with the revelation that Omega
has pure first-generation DNA,
and then explains it as their
genetic structure was modified for growth, acceleration, and obedience. Omega is a pure genetic replication.
This calls back the Kaminoans' explanation to Obi-Wan of the cloning process back in Attack of the Clones.
We modified their genetic structure to make them less independent than the original host.
And who was the original host?
A bounty hunter called Jango Fett.
Tech then says that there's only one other clone that is an exact copy,
A male clone, codenamed Alpha, later referred to as Boba.
which is again explained to Obi-Wan back in Attack of the Clones.
Pure genetic replication, no tampering with the structure to make it more docile, and no growth acceleration.
I should very much like to meet this Jango Fett.
After Omega escapes the battle between Fennec and Bane, she goes over to a room and activates a screen. On it, there's tons of Orbesh. Starting from the left, it says critical. Then it shows a layout of the building with the words escape pods, foreshadowing how she's gonna eventually escape at the end of the episode. The top of the tower shows satellite, showing how she's able to get a strong enough signal to the Bad Batch to let them know where she is. It then shows a picture of a satellite with the word offline underneath it, which flashes then to online. A satellite comes up, showing a signal to the Bad Batch. We then cut to their screen showing Bora Vio in Orbesh, the planet that she's on. Fennec finds Omega in the room, but Omega drops a cloning pod with an alien onto Fennec. The alien looks pretty similar to what the Kaminoans look like, so I'm thinking that the first thing that the Kaminoans tried to clone was themselves, but they couldn't get it perfectly right because this one doesn't look exactly like a Kaminoan. Omega starts to go down the ladder to the escape pods, but she instead decides to jump onto Todo. As they're going down, she rolls onto the ground to cushion her fall, finally learning the lesson that Fennec told her to do back in the earlier episodes, to tuck and roll when she falls. She gets into an escape pod and starts to fly away, but Todo tears one of the panels as he falls away, leading to the pod failing and showing this on the screen. Warning, portside fuel manifold damaged. Fennec gets onto her ship, and it's revealed that the person who hired her to recover Omega is Nala Se, which I find incredibly weird because Fennec had said earlier in the episode that it was part of the job to kill Tonway, the other Kaminoan. So that means that Nala Se is kind to Omega for some reason, but has absolutely no remorse for killing another one of her kind that she actually works with. At the end, Omega and Hunter start talking, and Omega says that she doesn't want to end up in a tube, and Hunter replies by saying,
"You are never going back to Kamino.
Promise?
I promise."
But yeah, she's definitely going back to Kamino by the end of the show. So, during this episode, Omega is revealed to be special because she's like Boba Fett, a complete, untampered with genetic copy of Jango Fett. And this leads you to believe that, oh, maybe she isn't Force sensitive, because she's just special because she's a pure genetic copy of Jango Fett. But I believe that this is a misdirect to the audience to make us believe that our theories about Omega being Force sensitive were wrong. I'm still holding to my strong belief that she's Force sensitive just because it makes a lot of sense, and maybe because I'm just hoping that's the case. So yeah, this episode was good. I enjoyed the action scenes between Fennec and Cad Bane, and we got a little more insight into why Omega is special in the eyes of the Kaminoans. I really like how much Orbesh that I got to translate, and I think overall, very solid episode. I'm very excited for the rest of the show to come out, and for the chance to break it all down for you guys. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified for every future Bad Batch episode breakdown. If you know someone who's watching Bad Batch, please consider sharing this with them, put down any questions or comments, and let me know if you still think Omega's Force sensitive. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next breakdown.